Hi students, now we are going to describe the construction and working of a full wave rectifier. So full wave rectifier is a circuit which is used to rectify both the positive as well as negative half cycles of the AC input voltage. Okay students, so it uses a center tap transformer. We have to mention something about the center tap transformer. In the construction of the half wave rectifier, we used a normal transformer only. Normal transformer means it was a step down transformer. 220 volt AC input voltage is stepped down to 12 volt AC. Understand? For example, 12 volt we have taken. Here also, the output or the secondary of the transformer will be providing what is stepped down voltage equal to 12 volt only. 12 volt AC. But that 12 volt can be split into 6 volt plus 6 volt in the two circuits, so that the midpoint of the number of turns of the secondary divides into equal two halves. Understand? So that the stepped down voltage or the output voltage available at the secondary of the transformer can be divided into two equal portions. So if it is 12 volt means 6 volt plus 6 volt I can divide. Okay students. So the midpoint called the center tap is at zero potential. So what is the potential at the midpoint of the transformer is 0 volt. So above this 0, if it is plus 12 means below this 0 it will be minus 12 volt. So the voltage available above the center tap is positive, means the voltage available below the center tap terminal will be negative, so that they are having a phase difference of 180 degree. See, for example, here the top, the waveform is like this. Okay, at this point the waveform is like this, means here at this point the waveform will be the reciprocal of that. So this is positive and this is negative. Here it is negative and this is positive. So the voltage on both sides of the center tap will be having a phase difference of 180 degree. Otherwise the working is similar to that of the half wave rectifier only. Okay students, now you see the circuit consisting of a step down transformer having a center tap at the center of the secondary windings, and the center tap is maintained at zero potential. It is called neutral point at 0 volt. Okay, now how many diodes are used in the circuit we have to see. There are two diodes, D1 and D2. So there are two PN junction diodes, D1 and D2. So that you can see that the P region of diode D1 is in contact with the secondary terminal A, okay, above the center tap, and the P region of the diode D2 is in contact with the terminal B, secondary terminal, okay, secondary of the transformer, which is below the center tap, and the N regions of both the diodes are connected, and from there is a load resistance whose bottom end is grounded. Okay students, now from the center tap a connection is taken. Carefully you see the circuit from the midpoint of the secondary of the step down transformer, which is called the center tap. One wire is coming here, and this wire is connected to the lower end of the resistance, namely load resistance. Okay students, okay. So now how it is going to work? Very simple, very easy to describe. Okay. Now first of all, during the first half cycle, I will take this during the first half cycle of the AC input. Okay students. So what is the first half cycle you see here? The positive half cycle. So the first half cycle is what? A positive half cycle of the input voltage. So when it is allowed to flow through the circuit means the point A will be positive while the point B will be negative with respect to the center tap, because center tap is 0 volt, is it not? So with respect to the center tap, when this point A is positive means the point B will be negative potential. As a result, what will happen, my dear students? Since the P region of the diode is positive means, what is the biasing condition for the diode D1, you tell me? Yes, D1 will be forward biased because P is connected to the positive potential. At the same time, the P region of the diode D2 is connected to the negative potential. So what is the biasing condition of the diode D2? Yes, it is reverse biased. Okay students, I will write the summary of the first half cycle. So D1 is forward biased and D2 is reverse biased. So it conducts, D1 conducts and D2 is reverse biased. So when it is reverse biased means it does not conduct. So this does not conduct. Okay, so D1 is forward biased and D2 is reverse biased. So through which diode now the current is going to flow is through the diode D1. So you see here, through the diode D1 the current is flowing and this current is allowed to flow through the external resistance called the load resistance and the current, so this is the current, okay. This current flowing through the resistor multiplied by the R value will be equal to the output voltage, which is a DC voltage, okay. So the output voltage is measured across the load resistance. So as a result of this means what? Current, okay, current flows through RL, okay. So current flows through the load resistance. Okay, now what will happen during the negative half cycle of the AC input voltage? So during the negative half cycle, okay students. So during the negative half cycle, now what will happen? The polarities of the secondary voltage will change. So as a result, what will happen to the point A, which is earlier positive, now becomes negative. Like that, the point B, which was earlier negative, will now get a positive potential. Okay students. As a result, now what will happen during the second half cycle of the AC input? This is the second or the negative half cycle of the AC input. So when A is negative, the P region of the diode D1 is in contact with the negative potential. So what is the biasing condition of the diode D1 now? D1 is reverse biased. Okay students, D1 is reverse biased. Similarly here the diode D2, if you see, means the P region of diode D2 is in contact with what? Positive potential. As a result, what is the biasing condition here? D2 is forward biased. So I will write during the second half cycle. So during the second half cycle, that is during the negative half cycle of the AC input voltage, D2 is forward biased and hence it conducts, okay, it conducts. And D1 is reverse biased. So D1 is reverse biased. So it does not conduct. It does not conduct. So the current conducted by D2 is going to flow now, is it not? Look at the diode D2, all of you. So the current is passed through the diode D2 and it is going up to the terminal, and once again through the load resistance it is flowing in the same downward direction. See, during the first half cycle you see the current was permitted by the diode D1. At that time also the current was flowing in the downward direction through the load resistance. Now during the second half cycle, what is happening? The D1 is not conducting, D2 is conducting. So the current allowed by the diode D2 is going up to this point, and then through the load resistance it is flowing towards the ground. What next should happen during the third half cycle? Again the current will be conducted by diode D1, and that current will flow in the downward direction towards the ground. Through whom? Through the load resistance. What next will happen? During the fourth half cycle also, the current will be conducted by diode D2 now, which is again flowing in the same direction through the load resistance. So irrespective of whether it is a positive half cycle or negative half cycle of the AC input, now always the current is flowing in the same direction across the load resistance, and hence this is called as unidirectional current. Understand, students? So now you see that during the second half cycle also the current flows through RL in the same direction, flows through RL, but in the same direction, okay, same direction always. So such a current which is flowing in the same direction only is called as what? A direct current or unidirectional current. Okay, students, now during every odd number of half cycles or positive half cycles of the AC input, the diode D1 was conducting. I am going to represent that waveform. So during the first half cycle, which is a positive half cycle of the AC input, there was a conduction of current. Which diode conducted this? D1. Okay, at that time D2 did not conduct. Okay, during the negative half cycle or the second half cycle of the AC input, which diode is conducting? D2. So now this output waveform will be there, and this time the diode D2 has conducted. Like that, during the next half cycle D1 will conduct, and the next half cycle D2 will conduct. So during every half cycle there is a current flow in the output. So this type of circuit which permits both the positive as well as the negative half cycles to flow in the output circuit is called as what? Full wave rectifier. Have you all understood, students? A full wave rectifier. So for this, what type of transformer it is using is called a center tap transformer. So this type of rectification cannot be achieved by using the normal transformer. Okay, students? So only using a center tap transformer only this achievement can be done. And what is the advantage here is the efficiency is double that of the half wave rectifier. So here the efficiency, okay, students? So this is the efficiency eta. So eta is equal to twice that of the half wave rectifier. So twice that of 40.6 is equal to 81.2%. 81.2% is the percentage efficiency of this full wave rectifier. Okay, where is this rectifier used once again? This uses of this rectifier. Number one is in high power devices. Wherever high power is required, okay, in such high power devices, this full wave rectifier using a center tap transformer is used. And in battery chargers, this also is used in one kind of battery chargers. Okay, chargers. And third one is in the old type radio circuits. Old type radio circuits, still it is being used. Okay, students, have you all understood? So what is a full wave rectifier? It is a circuit which rectifies both the positive as well as the negative half cycles of the AC input, and hence its efficiency is twice that of the efficiency of a half wave rectifier. Now one very interesting point I am going to tell you, which is not mentioned in our textbook. Be ready for that. What is the frequency of the input AC voltage we have chosen is 50 cycles per second, 50 hertz. Is it not? But in this rectifier, namely the full wave rectifier, the frequency of the output frequency is equal to 2 into 50 hertz. That is equal to 100 hertz. This is very, very important point in the case of a full wave rectifier. Whereas in the case of a half wave rectifier, the input voltage also is having the same frequency, 50 hertz. The output DC, I mean the output pulsating DC. Understand? The output also is pulsating only, no. So it should have some frequency. That is also 50 hertz. Okay, now one more important point I am going to tell you. See the output waveform of this rectifier. Okay, is it a constant voltage, you tell me? Can it be a constant voltage if it is a half sine wave? No. It is still pulsating only. That is why it is having a frequency of how many hertz? 100 hertz. So, my dear students, do not have a wrong concept that rectifier converts AC into constant current or constant voltage is wrong. AC is converted into DC, that's all, by the rectifier. But still the converted rectified DC, be it a half wave rectifier or a full wave rectifier or a bridge rectifier, is still pulsating, that is varying with the time. So, these variations which are occurring due to the combination of certain AC components as well as the DC components of the voltages are called as ripples. Once again, we have to remove the ripples by using the filter circuit, and again output of the filter circuit may be connected to a Zener diode, and then only we can get a constant voltage. Oh, in general, a full wave rectifier rectifies both the half cycles of the input AC voltage. Have you all understood, my dear students? Okay, next type of rectifier is bridge rectifier.